Well, we're going to have 800 of them. We've got them. And she just shipped us 300 of them. The rest are coming. So if you want to get your order in for this phone book-size book, she was the #2, the head of policy, senior policy advisor in the Office of Education, Research, and Improvement for the U.S. Department of Education during the first Reagan administration, where she first blew the whistle on a major technology initiative which would control curriculum in U.S. classrooms. Iserbyt is a former school board director in Camden, Maine, and was co-founder and research analyst for Guardians of Education in Maine. And, of course, in 78 to 2000, she was also the American Red Cross before that, in Guam and Japan during the Korean War, in the United States Foreign Service in Belgium, and the Republic of South Africa. Iserbyt is a speaker and writer, best known for 85 booklet Back in Basics, Reform, Skinnerian International Curriculum, and her 1989 pamphlet, Soviets in the Classroom, America's latest fad, which covered the details of the U.S., Soviet and Carnegie Soviet education agreements, which remain in effect to this day. She is a freelance writer and has articles published in Human Events, The Washington Times, The Bangor Daily News, and is included in the record of congressional hearings, deliberatdumbingdown.com. And again, we now have all of the books. She's got about 50 orders that she's fulfilling from her website, but we now have all of them, and I am just want you to have them. You know somebody on a school board, you know somebody who runs a private school or a public school, your children are in school. This book is filled with all the documents that she got out of the Department of Education and that she got since then. It is the size of a phone book. In fact, I should get one in here and show it to you. They're available at Infowars.com, and by purchasing it, you also support our work and her work. But I want to give her the floor for the rest of this hour, then 5 minutes in the next hour. Then I'm getting into the North Korea situation, the economic developments, the latest on WikiLeaks, and the TSA. A lot of key intel coming up next hour. But it's great to have Charlotte Iserbyt here with us today. Charlotte, I know you've covered the history over and over again, but if you could briefly tell us about yourself. You know, I mean, you got the position because you were, a great foreign service person, really helped out your local schools, didn't probably hurt your dad with Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, good family, there on the East Coast, and you got into the Reagan administration, and boy, did you find something out. So tell us about the basics, and then get into the latest stuff, because you say you've got some bombshell info for us.
Well, it is bombshell info because it's the ultimate, it's the final nail in the coffin of what has been planned ever since the beginning of the last century by the elitist, really upper-class, very wealthy families. You can go back, to the Whitneys, the et cetera, in the late 1800s. As you know, Alex, they had that meeting. It's in Tragedy and Hope by Carroll Quigley. He was President Clinton's mentor at Georgetown University, Carroll Quigley. I have that original book of his. But I don't know on what page it is where he talked about how, and he was a historian for the Council on Foreign Relations, so he's not some little fly-by-night. He said that these individuals got together and they decided they had to basically control both parties at the top, so that when the American people go to the polls, we'll think we're going to get what we want, but we won't, because both parties are the same at the top. Now, if I were about to die on my deathbed and someone asked me what was the most important thing for Americans to know, of everything that I've found out in my years with the Foreign Service, the Department of Ed, local school board member, everything, I would say that is it. Because the American people have got to understand that at the top, both parties have the same agenda, and that agenda is a planned economy. And you can call it whatever you want. You can call it a conservative planned economy, or a communist planned economy, or a Christian planned economy. It doesn't make any difference. It's a planned economy, which means that your children will have no upward mobility at all. There will be no future for them. We will have no free market anymore. with all the wonderful trappings that go with the free market, like we have experienced. At least I grew up in a wonderful America, okay? Now, that's why I say this is the last nail in the coffin, and we're going to talk about that today. But a little bit of my background: local school board member, most important thing that happened to me when I was fighting all the values-destroying programs and all. A retired teacher called me and said, "You're right on. I want to pay for you to go for some training in innovations in education." That was 1974. I went. The trainer was being funded by the U.S. Department of Ed, which was subsequently my office. Ronald Havelock's change agent manual, how to become a change agent in the schools. And I was trained on how to identify the resistors in my community. Well, it was very interesting to be trained how to identify yourself, right? The resistors are the smart people, like your listeners, who went up against sex ed, drug ed, alcohol ed, suicide ed, all the education programs that basically are geared to doing just the opposite of what they tell you. They want your kids to commit suicide. They want your kids to be promiscuous. That's, death education is a suicide thing. They want your kids to take drugs.
Order out of chaos.
They want, exactly. Okay, that's what they did. They had to create the chaos. They had to destroy our children's values and absolutely do away with any semblance of an academic curriculum, math science. No more 4 years of math science, literature, history, etc. Get rid of history and all. So when I went through that, about identifying the resistors and then also identifying the important people in the community, really good people, and we all know a lot of them, right? Head of the Rotary, head of the Garden Club, head of the Historical Society. The important people, you go to them, and you convince them that this is very important to put this sex ed program in, or this suicide ed program, or this bullying program, or this whatever program, that absolutely has nothing to do with anything to do with what parents want the schools to do.
And it sets the precedent.
I went through that, and then I helped start Guardians of Education for Maine, and of course I ran again for school board, and I lost because they hated my guts by that time. But hold on to your elected officials, folks, no matter what. They can get rid of me, that's right. They should get rid of me if they have enough people to vote against me. Have to hold on to your elected officials, and that's something I want to point out right now. Up there, number 2, I said the most important thing to know is that the Republicans and Democrats are the same. Number 2 is most important thing, go up against any change in local governance where they're taking away your elected officials. And then we are going to move into the basic thrust of my conversation today, and I will go into history of the Department of Ed a bit too. But the basic thrust, in case Alex gets cut off, is do not fall for any form of school choice unless it's homeschooling, and you're not receiving any federal monies, any tax monies at all, no computer curriculum that is virtual computers like William Bennett's curriculum. Do not go there. Nothing that receives tax money is going to be legitimate because, or safe, because your child will have to take the federal test. And the federal test is 60% attitudinal. And that's why they want the teachers to have merit pay, performance-based pay now, to force the teachers into teaching to the federal international politically correct test.
Now, let me just throw this out there, Charlotte, briefly. I mean, that's the key, is that no wonder the test scores are dropping, as you discovered. They want you learning anything but reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's all about basically being re-educated with diversity training, right. And it sets the precedent for federal/international curriculum, right. And that's what Bill and Melinda Gates are doing, yeah. is running around accelerating this.
And it's school to work. It's nothing but training your child. There's a difference between training and education, very big. Training bypasses the brain. Has nothing to do with your child being able to figure out what's going on in the world or have a conscience or anything. The training is the Skinner part.
Pavlovian.
The Pavlovian part. And it's all in my book, all the documents of this, especially the appendices, marvelous appendices, which explain the Pavlovian method. But also, Alex, what we're doing today for you is this great article, The Loss of Free Will, is to be up on my website and going to be sent to you. It has all these great links that people can click on to listen to key educators explaining them what conditioning is, that this is what's going to go on in your child's classroom. There will no longer be a true academic curriculum, and the charter schools will be the schools to implement it. They do not have elected school boards, charter schools. Charter schools, they act like they're the same as public schools, but they say they're innovative, and your parents are so happy because they can get their children out of this mess.
So they destroy the old schools,
right,
and then they bring in the new corporate schools.
Absolutely. The public school teachers will jump ship, and this is what I've said all along would happen. Jump ship from the traditional public school system with its extremely good, I might say, setup. I mean,
sure. They have to destroy it before they rebuild it. Charlotte, stay there. You're going to have the floor when we come back. Let's finish up what you discovered at Department of Education. Then the new information that's coming out, exactly as you predicted. The book is The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at Infowars.com. Look for Max, the orange Home Gain Gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com. HomeGain.com. Check them out today.
Is it really possible to get out of debt without payment plans or attorneys? 18 years ago, we developed a program that has made thousands debt-free in just 90 days. It's called Zero Debt in 90 Days, and it works for all credit card debt, medical bills, even collection lawsuits.
When I first joined, I was being sued. So I used the program methods, and after filing one piece of paper, the collection lawsuit was dismissed.
With Zero Debt in 90 days, your success is guaranteed in writing. There is no other program of its kind. Don't be alone when creditors gang up on you. Let our team of experts provide the resources to fight back and stop creditors in only 90 days, guaranteed. Prevent wage garnishments, bank levies, and stop collection calls with our proven program. Call Zero Debt in 90 days now, 800-477-9256, and ask for free information from an expert who also completed our program. 800-477-9256 or ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com. 800-477-9256 or ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com. In a coming-apart world, you need something to keep it tied together. That something is Atwood Rope, the highest quality rope made in the USA, from exotic braids for military, rescue, arborists, shipyards, tow line, or boating. Quality rope at affordable prices you and your customers can depend on. Find a dealer or shop online at atwoodrope.net. Enter promo code RADIO to receive 100 feet of 550 paracord free with purchase. Atwood Rope, working to keep the world tied together.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237.